Get ready, everyone, and you just might survive. Ruben and Jason are here with their X-Men deep dive. Going through all the X-books is their mission, so get ready for the Learned Edition. Things are getting weird in here. Ruben hopes another sword book gets announced this year. It's the Weird Dose of X, the X-Men comic show. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed not to blow, except your mind. It's the Weird Dose of X, the X-Men comic show. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed not to blow, except your mind.
Welcome, all you weirdos, fake sisters, fake mothers, fake arch rivals, and corndoggers coast to coast. It is time to receive your 159th Weird Dose of X, the mutant member of your Weird Science podcast family. I am your prophetic host, Jason, broadcasting as always from the Wrong Turn Studio, perched high atop stately Weird Science Tower. And with me, as always, is a man who would be happy to consume a kaiju-sized espresso if it were blocking NASA's view of a soccer game. It's my pal Ruben. Hey, Ruben, how the heck are you?
Oh, man, I'm a little upset.
You're upset? Why are you upset?
Yeah, I went to the coffee machine right before this podcast, and
Sounds like a sad story coming up.
Yes, this is a tragedy, and the only pot that was full was the decaf pot.
Oh, no. Oh, we're going to have to... This could be a long podcast, folks.
Yeah, so hopefully placebo effect is going to make me enjoy this coffee, and I'll feel amped, but
you'll be scoring everything as a 3 and below. I'm gonna have to.
It's quite possible. Yeah, these are great books. I'm just miserable today. No,
I don't think they are. I'm as caffeinated as I need to be, and I don't think they're great books. But we'll certainly get on to that. Yeah, we like to stay away from controversy here in the Weird Dose of X show. You know, we take the high road. Don't like to get down in the gutter. But Ruben, did you happen to listen to the regular Weird Science Marvel podcast yet? The one from last week?
Yeah, I don't know what this Image Comics is. I only know about Marvel Comics, clearly.
Yeah, can you believe they're giving us crap for talking about the power fantasy?
Yes.
I mean, we're just trying to find some good positive things to talk about. Jim even had this to say. Can you believe he would say this?
Power fantasy my ass.
My goodness, that kind of language on a show? I can't believe that would come out of Jim's mouth. Now, more than I need to know, frankly, right? I don't need
Power
to hear.
Power fantasy my ass.
That's just TMI for sure. And, not for nothing, but which member of this podcast family here reviews the most Marvel comics?
Is it us?
I'm pretty sure it's us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, even today we're going to cover 4 books. They're usually like 2, maybe 3. We even cover some non-X Marvel books that they just don't want to be bothered with.
Save that for the X-Men podcast.
You know, so mathematically speaking, purely objectively, pulling out the calculator, the spreadsheet mathematically, we should be called the Weird Science Marvel Podcast. The other one should be called the Weird Dose of Non-X. Just mathematically, that's all I'm saying. So, that said, this is not a great week for X books. Last week we had a couple bangers where we had Imperial, which was really good. We had that 0 issue about Revelation. That was cool stuff. This week, it's starting to feel like some of these books are kind of spinning their wheels, filling time before the big event starts in October. And there was no Infinity comic posted today. I thought maybe that would rescue us because we're waiting for the final issue of a certain arc. But yeah, usually that pops up late Sunday night, Monday morning. Nothing there. So I don't know what's up with that. When was the last time they didn't have one of those posted on Monday? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's strange that it just didn't appear.
So I guess we have that waiting for us next week because next week there's almost nothing. It's one of those 5th weeks, so hopefully we get an Infinity comic next week. On the upside, several of my predictions, Ruben, were proven true this week. Always puts me in a good mood. You know, I've got that going for me, which is nice. But first, before we get to this week's books, let's talk about some news. For instance, the Eisners were awarded just a few days ago. And folks, let me read to you the full list of Eisners that went to X-Books. Yeah, that was nothing. Nothing at all. Clayton Cowles did win as Best Letterer, and he letters lots of X-Books, including one we're going to talk about today. There were lots of books listed in his nomination, but there was no overlap. None of the books listed in his nomination were X books, so I don't think we could even claim him as an Eisner-winning X book guy. So, oh well. I was disappointed in one win, in one particular category. You know which one it was, Ruben, right? Which book was I rooting for in the Best New Series category?
Why don't you ask Jim?
Power Fantasy my ass.
Absolutely. It was nominated. It did not win. Did you see who did take that prize?
Was that up for Best New Series?
It was up for Best New Series.
Yeah, so Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman, which, that's an okay book. It's fine. The art's really cool. It's a nice story. I like it better than the non-Absolute Wonder Woman, which was nominated for Best Continuing Series, did not win. But yeah, it's the Power Fantasy.
Power Fantasy my ass.
So that was a little disappointing. Folks, you should still go out and buy it. Yes, I am still shilling for the Power Fantasy, merely because I wanted to continue so I can keep reading it. I get no cut of the profits. I just want to read it.
Yeah, it deserved it. I'm not sure what you have to do to win that, but
yeah, it's certainly a more ambitious, I would say more creative, but more unusual book where I'm sure it's a different look for a Wonder Woman book, but it's still Wonder Woman, where this was all new characters, all new situations, commenting on events and other books and comics in a cool new way, but people like Wonder Woman, I guess.
I'm surprised at how many awards Gene Luen Yang won.
Yeah, he was Best Writer. What else did he win? I only saw that one as I recall.
Best Graphic Album.
Okay.
I don't know what that makes you, but he got that, and then he was up for something else too. Might have been that. Oh, something about like a teen. Best teen.
Okay. Yeah, I saw even for Best Writer, the nomination was
Best Publication for teens.
Was for like a teen romance, so maybe it was all for that one book. I don't remember the name of it. It wasn't a book I had read or heard of, but he's an excellent writer, so maybe it is excellent. Moving on from the Eisners, a tiny bit of Age of Revelation news. The solicits were revealed for the number 2 issues of all those 16 or whatever titles. So we know the event goes at least 2 months. We don't know if it goes 3, but it definitely goes at least 2. That's all we got from Age of Revelation. And then some Imperial news. I had to include this because it's the first of my correct predictions. I'm not going to let those go past. Those 5 one-shots that are going to come out between issues 3 and 4 of the main event series, Marvel says all of those will be spun off into ongoing comics. And folks, you can probably hear the quotation marks when I say ongoing there, but that's what Marvel's calling them. So in November, we'll get Planet She-Hulk and Nova Centurion, both to be written by the same writers as their Imperial tie-in one-shots. So that's Stephanie Phillips on Planet She-Hulk, Stephanie Phillips, the current writer of Phoenix, if that's still continuing, and Nova Centurion by Jed MacKay, the hardest working writer in comics. Ruben, how does Jed MacKay have time for yet another ongoing title between X-Men and Avengers and this crossover event he's heading up on the X-Line? How can he write another book? How does this work?
It's confusing, but I think he has a writing formula, so that probably helps.
Good, and he probably also stays off of social media, which I think that probably helps a lot as well. Really find yourself more productive that way.
Yeah.
Not that I should talk, but there you go. So those are in November, and then in December, we'll get Black Panther Intergalactic, which presumably will be all about the space Wakandans, and maybe that book will finally help me understand who the hell these people are and how it's connected. No writer was announced for that Black Panther book, but if the pattern holds, it would be Victor Laval who's doing the one-shot.
Yeah, and I'm sort of glad about that from a selfish perspective, because I'm now, I think, 8 issues into the 25-issue run, because I was trying to figure out what the hell the Space Wakandans were all about, and I was like, that's going to be really annoying if I read...
The Ta-Nehisi Coates run?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to read 25 issues, and then, they'll be destroyed in, 4-issue miniseries, but it's nice to know that there will be some semblance of intergalactic Wakanda after this event is over.
Mm-hmm. And then
this series is not great, by the way. I want to hopefully get some bona fide creds. It's just basically Star Wars being retold. I
think that's what Jim said about it too. It was basically Star Wars.
Yeah, reskinned as Wakanda, but it's fine.
Okay, if you find any really great insights as you read it, be sure to bring them up, because I'm not going to read it, but I want to know what's going on. And then sometime we're just told winter 2026, the last 2 of those 5 books will start coming out, and those are Exiles with a capital X, which at least the spin-off one-shot is the Professor X book, so maybe Professor X gets his own book for a while. That'd be cool. That's the one-shot is written by Steve Fox. We don't know who's going to write the ongoing. And then Imperial Guardians, which is the one-shot written by Dan Abnett. Once again, no announcement of who the ongoing is, but that will be the prediction. The graphic showing these titles also includes the tagline, "Long Live the Union," which is either Marvel showing solidarity with labor, unlikely, or referring to the Union of Worlds who are trying to build that network of Stargates using the Wakandan vibranium. So I think this is all going to be about kind of rebuilding that, union of, Federation of Planets type of thing going on. Which, hey, those could be fun. Hickman said that his goal here was to kind of reboot the Marvel Cosmic Universe, and that's a nice cluster of titles to get that going. I did notice that none of these titles mention Star-Lord, so I'm sure he'll be popping up somewhere, right? Because he's currently the president or king of whatever world he's on. There's not currently a Guardians of the Galaxy book. You'd think if you're doing a cosmic thing, that would come out sometime, but we'll wait and see. I'm sure he'll be somewhere.
Yeah, you would expect so.
Now, one more little bit of news. There was some talk at the San Diego Comic-Con about who's going to be Sorcerer Supreme after Doom is done. Like, apparently at the end of One World Under Doom, Doom will no longer be Sorcerer Supreme. Oh, Ruben, I should ask you, do you know what the difference is between a regular sorcerer and a Sorcerer Supreme?
No.
You just add sour cream and diced tomatoes. That's a Taco Bell joke. Okay, that was dumb. Moving on. So Doom's going to be out. The job is not going to go right back to old Doc Strange, at least not right away. I'm sure he'll get it back eventually. Marvel has released a teaser image showing 10 other Marvel characters, all wearing capes clearly meant to look like Doctor Strange's. And the text on that image reads, "The Sorcerer Supreme has fallen. Long live the Sorcerer Supreme." And then Succession starts December 2025. So it's not clear to me yet if these characters are sharing the job or if they're competing for it, like an Heir of Apocalypse situation. Now, Ruben, have you seen this image at all, or is this news to you?
I haven't seen that. I'm going to look for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what characters are there wearing the Doctor Strange robes, and maybe you'll figure out why I'm even mentioning this on an X-Men podcast. Okay, so first we have Scarlet Witch, not a mutant, but mutant adjacent. We have Agatha Harkness. Next up is Madeline Pryor, mutant, currently Queen of Limbo. And then Magic, Ilyana Rasputin, mutant, former Queen of Limbo. Valeria Richards, daughter of Reed and Sue, goddaughter of Doomsday himself. Then there's Shang-Chi, Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel, Storm, who was a mutant, Nico Minoru, not a mutant, but from the Runaways. And finally, want to make any guesses, Ruben, who the final character in this list of potential Sorcerer Supremes might be?
I don't want to guess that, but I'll guess who I think is going to be appointed. So
okay, well, let me tell you the last candidate first. It's somebody who has a certain item that used to be owned or is related to an item owned by Doctor Strange. How's that? It is Gambit.
Oh, God. My brain broke right before you said that. I was going to guess that, but I was like, no, that can't be.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's going to be related to his whole Eye of Agamotto situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, my phone is yakking. I'm trying to shut it up. My goodness. Oh,
let's just fast forward to the reality. It's just going to be the Fantastic Four daughter.
You think it's going to be Valeria?
Yes, I absolutely think it's Valeria.
That would be one way to go. I mean, that would be that'd be a choice. I'm thinking maybe more like Scarlet Witch or Agatha Harkness. That was the way I was leaning, but Valeria is a strong contender. Okay, that's enough of that nonsense. Now let's talk about this week's nonsense. The books we're going to talk about this week are Uncanny X-Men number 18, Storm number 10, Wolverine number 11, and Phoenix number 13. And normally now I'd say, hey, but we're going to start off with the Infinity comic. We don't get one of those this week. So we'll go on first of all to Uncanny X-Men number 18, which is called, I kid you not, Corn Dogs and Carnage. Ruben, do you think there was a bet in the X Slack about who could get the most corn dog references into their comics? I was going to say it's uncanny, which is unfortunately a pun, but it's striking how many corn dogs have been popping up. I mean, in this one issue, we have corn dog in the title. We get corn dog in a line of Wolverine dialogue, corn dog in a line of Rogue narration, and at least one person at the festival pictured holding a corn dog. And I've said the phrase corn dog so many times it doesn't even sound like a word anymore. It's just sound. It's
a really strange inside joke because I don't find corn dogs particularly funny, but clearly somebody does.
Something going on in the X Slack or whatever the current day equivalent of the X Slack is. Yeah. Corn dogs are a running gag. This is written by Gail Simone, art by Luciano Vecchio, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, letters by Eisner Award winner, but not for this book, Clayton Cowles. And this is not a bad issue. I know that Mr. Gabriel Hernandez really ripped this one in his written review. It's not great. It's a collection of scenes that for me didn't really add up to a whole story, but it was kind of okay. What was your general feeling about this as we get into it?
Unlike Gabe, I actually liked this better than the last issue.
Okay.
It made me appreciate Mutina a little bit more.
Yeah, she did come on back. So the four basic scenes that happen here are, number 1, Calico's sleep troubles at Haven House. Number 2, Kurt pays a visit to Mackenzie Denier's house. Number 3, we're at the Friendship Fest. And number 4, we have a fire at a children's hospital. And we'll take those in order. So scene 1, Calico's sleep problems. We open on a very creepy splash page of Calico in bed being menaced, by Mutina, the baddie from the previous issue. I did not expect to see her again so soon. Ruben, were you surprised by this opening as well?
Yep, I was very surprised. And it's now a bit more of a mystery as to, is this just PTSD or is Mutina, basically the Freddy Kruegers?
Yeah, we know she had some shadow powers. That was shown last time. Still very, very vague. And I think we were proven right to be skeptical of why in the world did the X-Men just kind of yell at her but then leave and not lock her up somewhere, because clearly, if this is real, she's causing real troubles.
Yep. And also this idea of what is Murder Me Mutina, and this idea of she torments her villains with psychic torture and asks until they ask to be killed was kind of creepy.
Yeah. So here it shows her it's a full page spread, basically straddling Calico and just threatening her and forcing her to say that trademark line, "Murder Me Mutina." And then she tells Calico, "Hey, just go back to sleep." Now, I don't know about you, Ruben, but I'd have some difficulty getting back to sleep in that particular situation.
Yeah.
We do see that Becca's bedroom is just covered in horse motif. Toys, sheets, slippers, pajamas, a poster, which again makes her feel just a little too immature and childlike for me. I know she's supposed to be sheltered. She seems kind of like she has the brain of a small child, which is not great, uncomfortable. Becca does get up out of bed and she sleepwalks down the stairs into the kitchen. Gambit hears, gets up to check, and we learn that this is not the first time that Becca has done this. When she gets down there, Jubilee is already in the kitchen with a mug of, coffee or something steaming. Why do you think Jubilee is up so late? It seems to be the middle of the night here.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if it's the middle of the night or I just assumed this was there's a clock.
It looks like the clock says 4 o'clock.
4 or 5, yeah.
It's either 4 o'clock or 20 after 11, depending which hand is which. But I think it's probably 4 a.m.
Yeah. So Jubilee's just my wife, basically. She gets up at
Yeah, I don't know if Jubilee is working construction hours, but
yeah. Some people get up at that hour. I didn't think too much of it.
So Jubilee and Gambit watch a still sleeping Becca start to try to make breakfast, and Becca can't cook for crap even when she's awake, so this is not going to go well. This time it looks like she cracks an egg into a bowl and then adds a whole carrot. I don't know if that's her, horse-type feeding sensibilities coming up. Food is feeding things carrots.
Well, it's such as sleepwalking.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if that's her instinct is to think of food as a whole carrot. That's the only thing I can pick up. Yeah. Probably she feeds carrots to horses. I've never known a horse, but that's, they eat apples, hay, and carrots. That's all I know.
I don't think she actually knows how to make anything, so I think she's just grabbing whatever's there.
Okay. So Jubilee and Gambit guide Becca back up to her room, and now Becca's mumbling things like some things that are, normal. Everyone cooks, everyone cleans, which is one of Mr. St. Jr.'s rules in Haven House. But she also quotes things that Mutina said to her, like "murder me" and "rich girl trash" and "carve up everyone in the house." Disturbing stuff. And when they get to Becca's room, the place is just trashed, right? The sheets and mattresses all just sliced up to bits.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be vague whether or not Mutina was really there, but this seems like pretty good evidence that somebody was there with something really sharp. I don't know how Becca could have done this herself.
No, I think definitely Mutina is really tormenting people. She leaves the bed, right? And the bed's fine. in the scene where we see her sleepwalking.
Oh,
and
I guess it is.
She goes back and it's like trashed.
So probably Gambit and Jubilee should have been more skeptical about this, right?
Well, they wouldn't
you're
know.
not just sleepwalking.
They wouldn't know, right?
But how could Becca have done it? Even if Becca had done it, she doesn't have a knife. If she is sleepwalking, you better make sure she doesn't have a knife, because that could be awful.
Well, I would say if she had done this, their reaction is very strange. It's like, okay, so you're a psychopath who's going to like destroy the bed, but come on, get in this bed and go to sleep. We'll deal with this tomorrow.
They bring her over to Rogue and have her sleep cuddle up next to Rogue and sleep while they clean up the mess.
Yeah.
I did like one little detail in the art, that when Becca gets up and starts sleepwalking, she only puts on one slipper.
Yeah.
And she wears that one. It's consistent. Every time we see her feet, she's got one slipper on, one off. And when they get back to the room, we see the other slipper there next to the bed.
Yeah.
A small thing. Doesn't have to be called out in the dialogue. Just adds a little bit of texture to the story. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it helps me believe that she was actually sleepwalking at this point.
Yeah, it's a nice little visual detail. Good work.
I just say it, I've got a daughter that does this, and this sort of like, are they awake, are they asleep thing is, it's like this, where you're like, why are you wearing one shoe? And they'll respond, but not exactly to the question you asked, and then you realize, oh, they're not actually awake.
My brother did that once on vacation when we were kids, and it was very creepy, but it was only the one time. I guess it's something you kind of get used to as a parent if it happens more frequently.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like an everyday thing. It's more like, once a year this will happen. But I've seen it a few times, and you're like, oh, yeah, she's just doing it again.
And this looks pretty realistic from what you understand?
Yeah, exactly.
Neat. Okay, on to our next scene. Kurt visits Mackenzie Denier. Now, Mackenzie is the mother of that kid Kurt saved from a runaway truck a few issues ago, and I predicted that the two of them might become a romantic item.
Yeah.
That hasn't exactly happened yet, but I'm pretty sure my boy Nightcrawler, he's going to seal the deal. This is going to happen here. It's definitely being more than hinted at. So
I thought this was kind of a sweet scene, though, like the way they, thank him and how he's not really sure like why they're being so nice to him, and then he just like accepts it.
Yeah, so he's stopping and he just wants to ask her why she's doing this whole, Hooray for Mutants friendship festival thing that she's getting going.
Yeah.
And she's in the middle of cooking lunch. She invites him for lunch and says, here, just take care of the kids for me while I do that. The kids love him, of course. The dog loves him. The hamster loves him. And while she's cooking, everybody just falls asleep on the couch with him. I guess the hamster stays awake, but everyone else takes a nap. Yeah. So it's not just romance, but it's also kind of a family situation.
Yeah, just people accepting him.
Yeah, and you can see Kurt's the kind of guy who would like to have a family, I think. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
So the last panel of this has her reaching for Kurt's hand and asking him to, quote, stay for lunch. And I don't think she means just the red beans and rice, Ruben. I think she's looking for maybe a little something extra, a little hot sauce on that red beans and rice.
I see.
Uh-huh. Okay, moving on to the third scene, which is the Friendship Festival. And the Uncannies, they decide to attend. And there's a lot of talk about whether they should go, whether they should keep hiding, whether they should kind of go in the shadows. I think that the idea that they say, well, we should maybe keep hiding who we really are. Ruben, have they been hiding who they really are there in Louisiana?
No.
If so, they've been doing a really crappy job of it because the whole state knows they're mutants. So this is just Gail Simone leaning into the whole identity metaphor a little too hard in a way that's not supported by the story.
Yeah. I'd also say when we see the Friendship Fest, you see all these people cosplaying as the various X characters, right?
Yeah.
So they're obviously well known. You wouldn't be able to cosplay something you didn't know, right? Like you don't see anybody cosplaying as them specifically. I guess there's a Wolverine, but they are very public figures. So I don't think you can hide unless you're like wearing a disguise, and they certainly have not been doing that.
I mean, the kids aren't as well known, and they have the kids go in regular old civilian outfits.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. But yeah, the metaphor doesn't really work. The Uncannies, though, the adults, show up to this festival in their full superhero outfits, the full, big, colorful everything.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, and Rogue says that everybody there seems impressed like they're celebrities. Makes sense. I do like seeing all these other people here. There are people dressed up as... I think that's a girl dressed up with a Laura Kinney Wolverine motif.
Yeah.
You see someone dressed up as Storm. Is the guy with the Storm cosplayer, is that supposed to be... Who's that supposed to be?
It's either Beast or Wolverine, one of them.
I'm looking at somebody else. I'm looking at somebody who looks like, kind of like Manifold, the one who has the kid cosplaying Cyclops on his shoulders.
Yeah, I still think that's Storm or Beast, or Wolverine, because that's like the new X-Men.
Just the jacket?
Jacket, yeah.
Okay. I guess just his face looks like Manifold to me. But
yeah.
And the kid on his shoulders who has the Cyclops mask on, or eye goggles, he also has weird spots on his skin and pointy ears. So the kid's clearly supposed to be a mutant, but also cosplaying as a different mutant, which is fun. So yeah, it just looks a really good time. I enjoy this couple pages, and for a couple pages, the mutants themselves are just having a good time, and that's nice to see. They take selfies with the crowd, they eat carnival food, they go on some rides. Kurt meets up with Mackenzie again, and they have a little dance, even though you'd think she'd be super busy running the festival, but she makes time for Kurt.
Yeah, people in Louisiana are pretty cool.
I guess they're laid back down there. So Logan has a side mission now where he encounters the Vig, who's that big Killer Croc-looking guy from Gambit's past.
Yeah.
And naturally, Logan just starts punching the Vig. It turns out that the Vig was just preventing some dudes from arsoning the entire festival.
Yeah.
The Vig says that these were from the Friends of Humanity, and we're going to blame mutants for the death and destruction that occurred. So now Logan and the Vig are on at least respectful terms.
Yeah, I kind of like this a little bit, just in the sense that when we had this story earlier with Gambit and the Vig, I was like, where is this coming from? It was like a one-shot, and I was like, why do we really need that? And I'm like, okay, they were introducing him to make him part of this Louisiana,
this
side
cast of characters,
story.
This milieu, just to kind of there's got to be some mutants around. Gambit had a past here. I think it makes sense.
Yep.
But now Logan smells a real fire, and he can tell that it's at a nearby children's hospital. Ruben, I'm no writer. I didn't go to writing school, but I'm pretty sure that if you want to make a character seem like a villain, you have them light a kid's hospital on fire. I think that's what you do. Maybe make it a kids' cancer hospital if you want to really get the audience not on their side.
Yeah.
So now we're off to scene 4, which is this fire at the children's hospital. And as we get there, the place is already complete blazing conflagration. The way it's drawn, kind of hard to believe anybody could still be alive inside.
Yeah.
But the firefighters tell the X-Men, still patients and staff in there. And also, the doors and the windows to this fiery children's hospital booby-trapped. So we're not supposed to like whoever did this. The rescue scene that follows is dramatic, dynamic, kind of a bit hard to follow. I would have thought that the strategy here is just, Kurt's the teleporter, just, protect him, go with him, but have him pop everybody in and out. But
yeah, I thought this was a little too complicated for the character set that you had here.
They needed to have every character shine. Like the Rogue uses her strength, and Jubilee uses her fireworks to, I don't even know what the hell she does, but apparently she saves somebody with fireworks.
Yeah.
Every character has to shine. It was kind of cool that some other characters show up to help.
Yeah.
Right? We see Cyclops show up, not in the other Alaskan X-Men, and we don't know why he was there or how he got there so quickly. But
well, he was invited. So when they first show up to the party, Rogue is in her self-narrative. She talks about how she had invited somebody but didn't see them there. And that was kind of disappointing.
Okay. That works. I like that. Other characters we see there. We see Angel Salvatore. That's her husband is Beak. We saw the two of them in that Thanksgiving Infinity comic. She's the one with the fairy wings. We see Strong Guy, who I believe was one of Dazzler's roadies. We see Haymaker. He's the one who looks like Red Hood. Previously only been in books written by Erica Schultz about Laura Kinney. Not even a mutant, but just kind of can fight real good. So it's an odd choice, but I'm pretty sure that's who that is. And then Outlaw, who's the one dressed like a cowgirl stripper. Her real name is Inez Temple, and Outlaw is a Gail Simone character, first appearing in a Deadpool book in 2002. Outlaw has the fairly standard power set of strength, stamina, durability, accelerated healing, and judging from the cover of the next issue, she's going to be around a little while. So everybody here kind of does their thing, uses their abilities, and by all appearances, everybody from the hospital is saved. And as the issue ends, Rogue's narration boxes swear vengeance on the lousy perps who did this. So the next issue features Deadpool. Boy, he's not going to turn out to be the guy hired to set this place on fire, is he? I know he does some bad stuff, but that seems like a bridge too far.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's not it. We'll have to wait and see. The Outlaw
this made me think of the storyline from the other Deadpool story that was canceled. The God, what was it called? The name of the book was like The Joke. I can't even remember now.
There was a canceled Deadpool book? Is this recently? I don't even know what time
Yeah,
period
it was like
about.
it was like the other Wolverine Deadpool, but it was like something else.
There was Wolverines and Deadpools, where it's like with them with their kids. But you mean something that's canceled?
Yes.
I don't know that one.
That could be anything, right? Every book is canceled.
Yeah, well, so he's going to be in the next issue. This outlaw character has a history with him. The two of them are together on the cover, so that's going to be a thing. And the solicit for that next issue sounds highly comedic, right? It jokes about Nightcrawler being served the wrong beer and how that's awful. So it really feels like this is going to be Gail Simone doing a Deadpool issue, but featuring the Uncanny X-Men. And she's written Deadpool before, wasn't crazy about her run, but there was some funny stuff in it. So if we're going to be we need a few issues to fill up before the Age of Revelation, this isn't the worst possible way to fill it up. And it could be okay. So yeah, that's about the way I feel about this issue too. The issue was kind of fine. A collection of scenes that didn't add up to a whole story. Clearly that Becca and Mutina plot line is going to have to be dealt with. It didn't come up at all after that first little bit. It looks good. Enjoy the way it's drawn here. Not particularly memorable, but it features actual superheroes doing actual superhero things. And for me, that's good enough for a 6.5 out of 10. How about you, Ruben? You were a little more favorable than me on that?
I think so. I was just a solid 7 on this. It was clearly a cool down issue, but it was nice to see that some of the random one-shot things that Gail Simone's added are intended to be things that we actually need to remember, and that this is what's going on in New Orleans. So I was happy to see that. And, we know this is just treading water until we get to the next event. So this is a fine way to do it, I think.
Sounds good to me. Moving on from this book to our next, which is Storm number 10, Thunder War Begins. Written by Morewa Ayodele, art by Lucas Werneck, colors by Alex Guimaraes, letters by Travis Lanham. Okay, Storm's out of jail, but she's worried because she keeps blacking out and doing stuff she doesn't remember, which, hey, we've all been there, right? But when she wakes up, she's not just, somebody in bed next to her. She has a cosmic being called Abraxas, the bomb entity, hidden in her basement, which is the kind of thing you'd want to remember doing. Also, we need to remember issue 1, when Storm found that mutant kid who accidentally caused a giant deadly explosion in Oklahoma, and that Storm took that kid somewhere and didn't tell us about exactly where she took the kid. Turns out that the kid was being babysat in Madripoor by our old pal Bishop, because Bishop can absorb all the harmful radiation the kid puts out, then convert that energy and release it elsewhere. I'm sure that won't come back to haunt anyone ever. Also, the kid is named Jaden, and he or she dyed his or her hair to make it look kind of like Storm's hair. Ayodele finds Storm's hair to be very important.
Yes.
Comes up several times in this book.
Yeah.
Which it has like a campy feel to it, which I don't think fits with the grand, cosmic, super powerful story he's trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But first, before we deal with Jaden, Storm, Maggot, and Manifold go into deep space so that Maggot can eat the rotting corpse of some dead space kaiju that a footnote tells us figured in the Avengers Infinity comic that I didn't read. They were asked to do this by NASA because the corpse is, quote, obstructing NASA's view of some newly discovered planet. Now, Ruben, I don't often get to pull out my astronomy degree, but that's nonsense. There's no way that even this skyscraper-sized corpse in deep space could block Earth's view of a planet at another solar system, because everything's moving, right? It's not going to be right in the way the whole time. If it's in the way now, wait 5 minutes, it'll be gone. So it doesn't make sense. But this scene has to happen now because Ayodele wants Maggot to be kaiju-sized later on, and that should have just been the explanation at the beginning, right? Oh, Storm should have said we're here because she wants to power up Omega Maggot, not for any of this NASA nonsense.
Yeah, especially since it's clear that she has like a Kill Bill-like agenda following this scene. So it's sort of like, and we could have been like, oh, what's this for, right? She's like, I've got some plans, just you need to power up.
And the only people there are her, Maggot, and Manifold, who are all in on that plan. Yeah. So it's not like she's even needs to keep it secret from somebody else, because they're the only people there in deep space with this dead alien.
I did laugh at the sort of I'm an Omega banter that where they're making fun of Manifold that he's not, because I kind of think he is. But
yeah, because he seems awful powerful, right? So Maggot is now Omega since he got powered up by Eternity.
Mm-hmm.
And Storm, I guess, has been Omega for a while.
Yeah.
So they joke about, where Omegas you wouldn't understand, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, they talk about who is Shuri. That's who apparently he has a thing for. Manifold is kind of interested in. So they joke about Shuri showing up and making him kind of freaked out at that. It's all right. It's kind of funny. It's not bad. And from there, we jump to that revenge scene. Storm's here to take revenge on one of those storm gods she fought in South America. This one's named Sango. She's mad that the weather anomaly he helped caused all sorts of destruction, killed a whole bunch of people, but mostly she's mad that she had to cut her hair afterwards.
Yeah, that part was annoying.
Yeah, it makes her seem really, really petty, like super, super cosmic, but also just a petty, like a cartoon of a modern celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. And speaking of big, though, this is when kaiju-sized Omega Maggot punches his way through the building, grabs Sango. Omega Maggot then tosses Sango through a portal created by Manifold, and now Sango is locked away in a pocket dimension. Same pocket dimension where another one of those storm gods, I'm going to go with Shock, is already there. So this is a tactic Storm seems to want to use on all of them. Grab them all, toss them in this pocket dimension. Which, I guess that's a good thing for her to do. It's reasonable. They cause trouble for her. She's just going to lock them away. Probably what the Uncanny should have done with Mutina. Find a nice pocket dimension.
I know. They should have called Manifold.
Right. That would be a nice little crossover here, right? Just put them all together. That'll be a team of villains. Mutina and some storm gods. That'll be fun.
Yep.
But we don't get that. We go back to Madripoor. Storm saw Bishop's latest massive discharge and is intrigued by it. But somebody else saw that discharge as well. Those alien/magical FBI agents who've been hassling Storm. One of them, Agent Etienne, has the voodoo-like power to kill from a distance by cutting straw dolls up with magical scissors. Etienne appears to kill both Omega Maggot and Manifold. I mean, they seem quite dead here, don't they?
Yes, and this power seems like a little too powerful.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is actual death. Yeah.
But, I mean, Maggot has no head, which is kind of important to being alive. And it sure looks like Manifold is just slashed in two right through his chest.
Yep.
So I don't know how they're going to come back from this. I'd be surprised if characters like that are going to get killed off this easily, but sure looks like what that happens on the page.
Yep.
They're about to do the same thing to Storm, but her name's on the cover of the book, so they can't do that. So what happens next is, and I'm not making this up, Ruben, you've read the book, you can confirm, the Silver Surfer and Galactus fall on them, or right next to them, close enough to knock them silly, prevent them from murdering Storm to death.
Yeah, they're pretty strong happens, if they survive. They survive this somehow.
Yeah, and we've had a couple scenes of that kind of soot-covered Silver Surfer. So Silver Surfer has been foreshadowed, but just having them fall at this exact moment to save Storm's life, very odd coincidence.
Yeah.
And we're not even done, because in the final 2 pages, Infinity shows up. She's the twin brother of Eternity, and she wants to know what the hell Storm has done with her brother. And this sequence looks great, right? Where Infinity opens up this diamond-shaped portal in the sky and steps through. Looks fantastic, right? And this whole series looks fantastic. And this isn't even the best drawn issue of the series, but it still looks better than damn near anything else Marvel's putting out.
Yeah.
The story, though, kind of nonsense. Feels like random stuff just happening, and every time Storm is just more powerful every page that happens, which I just don't find very interesting. I don't find this version of Storm as a character interesting.
Yeah.
And frankly, Ruben, if we weren't this close to an event, I'd be talking about maybe just dropping this book. Are you getting more out of this book than I am, or does it feel kind of like nonsense to you too?
No, they're just constantly trying to one-up Storm. And this is the worst kind of cosmic story where literally anything just happens and you just gotta shrug your shoulders and say, oh, okay.
Sure, looks cool though.
At any moment, there doesn't seem to be any stakes at all.
Yeah, I'm sure that by page 2 of the next issue, those dead characters are going to be revealed to be just fine. Maybe Infinity brings them back. Could be anything. Just so much power flying around that there's, like you say, doesn't feel like any stakes.
Yeah, but in that final panel, we see the corpses, so I don't know. That'd be a really lame way to get rid of Manifold. They could get rid of Maggot, and I wouldn't care so much. But
yeah, I wouldn't care so much, but he has been played up as being part of Eternity's plan here.
Right.
So that's why I'd be surprised to see him killed off. There are 2 more issues of this Thunder War arc before Age of Revelation starts. And according to Marvel.com, we won't have Lucas Wernick doing art for those issues, which would be a bummer, because that's really the only reason I would say to check these books out. We'll have Mario Santoro listed. He did a couple of pages for Storm number 8. Remember, there was a couple pages that looked a little bit different that had like Reed Richards on them. We weren't too crazy about. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't Lucas Wernick level.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's only listed on... Sometimes Marvel.com gets weird with their listings, like there'll be multiple artists on a book, but they'll only list one of them. So maybe Wernick will be back, but we're still going to check them out. We're not going to drop any more books before the Age of Revelation, because that'll probably change stuff up. But this is a book to leaf through, look at the pretty pictures. The story, you can kind of skip, I think, unless you're a huge Storm fan, in which case you're already swearing at me for your podcast player. But I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. How about you, Ruben?
Yeah, I don't care. Not quite FE5, but I think 5 is a fair score.
Yeah, again, a lot of that is art. The story is just, I don't follow it. I don't know what's going on. There's just random, big, powerful stuff happening, and then Storm is great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we have to say about that. Moving on to Wolverine number 11, legacy number 403, Only a Mother. Written by Saladin Ahmed, art by Martine Kokolo, colors by Brian Valenza, letters by Corey Pettit. So we're a few issues into this arc. Long story short, Wolverine got a letter that purported to be from his mother, and he caught her scent in the air too, which is odd, given that she's been dead for something over 100 years, having murdered herself to death over what her son had become. So Logan goes back to his ancestral home to see what's going on. And there he fought a pair of old Marauders goons, he fought a dude from a redneck bar, and after that he ran into the ghosts of both his real father and his fake father. Then he ran into his dead mother, still not looking so dead. And finally, in the cliffhanger of last issue, he met Sabretooth, also, surprisingly, not as dead as he had been quite recently. So this issue is 90% just an extended, brutal fight scene between Logan and Sabretooth, with Logan's mom chipping in occasionally to scream or to stab Victor Creed in the back with a fireplace bowl. Eventually, Logan rips off enough of Sabretooth's face and stabs him in the brain enough times that he temporarily stops fighting back. Then Logan turns into a mama's boy and cries into his mother's bosom. Now, Logan has had a long time to get over this, but I guess seeing your mother kill herself and then show back up again, that'll make anybody emotional.
Yeah.
In the final panel, we reveal what I predicted, I think, all the way back in Legacy number 400 when the story kicked off. Hey, Ruben, that's not Logan's mom at all. She's just a shenanigan. And almost certainly not Sabretooth either. Probably also shenanigan. And Ruben, did you predict this was going to be Mastermind? I think you might have brought him up.
It's a possibility. I did think it was some sort of psychic thing going on here. So
yeah, I think you may
vindicated.
have mentioned him specifically. So we'll give you credit for that too. Because it is a Jason Wingard Mastermind thing going on. We don't know what his motives are, what he's trying to get out of this. We haven't seen him in a while, right? He had a cool role in that terrific Hellions book way at the beginning of Krakoa when he was working with Mr. Sinister. Since then, he's really only appeared in current continuity in X-Corp, which I didn't read. And he was briefly in the Trial of Magneto. So nothing at all since like 2021. Could be up to anything.
Yeah. I did kind of laugh about this idea of like, why would you go after Wolverine? He's like one of the few characters I would not mess around with.
Yeah. You don't have
this is not going to end well for Jason Wingard is what I'm
what's he going to get out of this? If you just want to mess with somebody, pick somebody less pointy, less violent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll probably find out next issue what he's after, but yeah, there is some history between the two of them, right? Wingard is the one who manipulated Mariko into not marrying Logan, which Logan will hold a grudge over. Logan mentioned Mariko in there's one panel I should mention where Logan in his narration boxes mentions that if he remembers seeing a painting with Mariko about Jacob wrestling with an angel. Did you catch that little bit there?
Yeah, I thought that was nice. And you showed in the Slack that it is real painting.
Yep, that's another reason, folks. You should be subscribed to the Patreon and hanging out in the Slack. You get to see some images. So this is a story from Genesis, chapter 32, where Jacob wrestles an angel. The painting is by 19th century French artist Gustave Doré. This layout of this panel is exactly taken from the painting, which is kind of cool. A little weird that you'd have Sabretooth in the position of the angel. I don't know what the symbolism exactly they're going for is here, but kind of neat. And, having that in here really just it gives me something to talk about an otherwise incredibly straightforward issue. There's not a whole lot else to say here. Anything else you want to bring up before we kind of wrap this one up?
It's kind of just a bunch of art. Like you said, it's just a fight scene. So
it's a pretty good fight scene, right? It looks brutal. The layouts are nicely varied. But again, it's just a fight scene. And then at the end, it turns out that it was a fake fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind a good fight in a superhero book, but I like a little more story mixed in. So it's Wolverine. So having it be kind of fighty goes with the territory. I'm going to give Wolverine number 11 a 6 out of 10. At least we kind of know what's really going on here. And we come to Wolverine for some nice violence, and we get some good violence. How about you, Ruben? Where are you at?
Yeah, it was fine. It was 6. Overall, the story I'm still interested in, but this one, I feel like I needed another issue to get more out of it.
Yeah, we didn't need the fight scene to go on quite so long. Could have got a little more story substance, and that would have made me like it a little better. But again, it's perfectly okay. Moving on to our final book of the podcast, which is Phoenix number 13, written by Stephanie Phillips, art by Roy Mercado, colors by Java Tartaglia, letters by Joe Sabino. Another book we might end up dropping after Age of Revelation. Writing a compelling story for a character as powerful as the Phoenix is a challenge. And Stephanie Phillips kind of hasn't solved that challenge, I don't think. She really has, Phoenix has to be her own worst enemy because that's the only way she won't just win automatically. So where are we? Jean tried to go to the White Hot Room, but was instead redirected to a place called Greyhaven, where she ran into her dead sister, Sarah, seemingly not so dead no more. Sarah also has the power to unlock the mutant ability of seemingly baseline humans, which is the power that Claremont was going to give Sarah after Jean was killed off in the Dark Phoenix saga. Ruben, have you read the Dark Phoenix saga?
Can we move on?
Well, we've both read the Kamala Khan version, Ruben, which is obviously the better version to read because it has Kamala Khan in it. So no one needs to read the old one anymore.
I mean, I basically read it, right? That's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but only better, clearly. So anyway, at the end of the last issue, Jean's sorta kinda stepson Cable bursts into the room, and he shot his sorta kinda step-aunt Sarah right in the gut with his big old Cable rifle. So we open with an extended fight scene that could have been a 30-second conversation. Cable fights Jean and one of Sarah's new minions until Jean remembers that she has Omega-level telekinesis, puts a stop to things. Sarah is still alive despite having been shot. We'll learn later that Cable set his big old Cable rifle on stun because, he says, he didn't want to make Jean go all Dark Phoenix by murdering her sister Sarah to death in front of her.
I mean, that's fair.
Good enough. I mean, although what he wants Jean to do, I don't think is going to be any less Dark Phoenix-y. So you might as well have ripped the Band-Aid off at the beginning by just killing her, but maybe that's me. We'll get to that.
I think if she makes the choice, she can keep the anger under control.
I guess. Let's talk about exactly what's going on. Cable explains to Jean why he's there, and really, Ruben, he should have just given her a copy of our podcast from a few months ago, because it's just what I predicted.
Yep.
Exactly. Sarah's not real. She was accidentally, unknowingly created by Jean. The clearest and most detailed explanation we get comes from Jean. Once she's finally accepted the reality, she's back and forth. I don't believe it. I do believe it. I don't believe it. When she finally believes it, she says, quote, I sent out a wave of psychic energy to keep the powers of the dark gods from spreading, which was in issue 10 at the end of the Adonis saga. And when she continues, she says, when I sent out the wave, I connected myself to the universe. Isn't the Phoenix already connected to the universe? That doesn't.
Yes.
I connected myself to the universe, putting a piece of myself in the stars. Cable finishes the story, and Sarah Gray is the personification of that energy, that link you established, and now her existence is killing the universe. Cable time slides himself and Jean into the future where, things look pretty grim.
The one thing I laughed about this is I was like, there's a lot of people who've come back from the dead. Like, why is this character's resurrection going to break the whole universe?
It's never explained, right? Cable should say, there should be something going on why this particular resurrection is what makes the universe go to hell.
Yeah.
And even when he brings to the future, we see at this one planet things look bad. We see kind of like zombies attacking, skulls on the ground, but so what? Aren't there places like that in the universe at any given time? It doesn't really show that the whole universe is ending. It shows just one place is bad.
It's like, this is just zombie planet. Get over it.
Yeah, but there's no hint what any of this has to do with Sarah.
Yeah.
Why? So, yeah, Jean's emotions whipsaw between anger and sadness and disbelief. At the end of the trip to the future with Cable, she seems to have accepted the truth of these words. She knows she's responsible. We don't know what she plans to do about it.
Yeah.
We do end with one more scene, this one featuring pseudo-Sarah and her mutant friends, no Jean involved at all. Sarah tries to follow Jean and Cable on their time slide. Right? She has mutants who can track and teleport. They bring her to the right place, but at the wrong time. Jean and Cable are in the future. Sarah and pals are just in the now. And in the cliffhanger, it's a lot like Storm. The cliffhanger here, the In-Betweener shows up and says he wants to talk to Sarah.
Yeah.
The In-Betweener is an abstract entity who was created to be an intermediary between Master Order and Lord Chaos, and we saw him in that Hickman Gods book. What do you think the In-Betweener wants to do with this fake Sarah?
Well, we keep seeing these characters promoted to be Jean Grey's latest adversary or equivalent power level opponent. And Adani kind of failed, so my guess is Sarah's going to be the next. This character is strong enough to fight the Phoenix, and then of course she's not.
I wasn't seeing that. You think she's going to be the next opponent? That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we have a preview of what next comic looks like? We just see. Let's see. We just see the two sisters kind of looking into each other's eyes, kind of making power flamey things between them, but no idea. So yeah. Kind of what we predicted. The art here continues to be on the lower end of okay. This is not nearly as good looking as Storm.
Yeah.
None of the settings feel like real or solid. Action and characters a little better than the settings, but still kind of on the sketchy end of things. Not pushing me away, but I can tell you, hey, if you're really interested in great art, take a look at Storm. I can't give you that same motive for picking up Phoenix. So I'm going to call Phoenix number 13 a 5 out of 10 book. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to be more positive today. Okay. I'm going to say a 6 out of 10. I was a little more interested in this. I thought the Cable plot was a little more clever than maybe you're giving credit for, taking account of Dark Phoenix and not trying to really piss her off. But I did sort of laugh at the idea again of you really have to manage Jean's emotions and why are mutants hated and feared. Well,
right.
Example number 1 million.
She can kill stars, and you don't want to make her too emotional.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, how you doing today? Want to tell you something? Just sit down. It'll be all right. We'll go out for applesauce later.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy. Yeah. That was Phoenix number 13. What really bugs me is just tell me why Sarah is so dangerous. Give me some mechanism for her making the whole universe go to crap. Something. Anything. Could be hand wavy. She doesn't even bother to wave her hands.
She does this. Yeah. And also, you have this power to bring life and death, right? I'd be like, Cable, you need to lay this out, right? Can't we just adjust whatever this problem is?
Right. Phoenix should be able to bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, fix kind of anything. So why is this something she can't fix other than killing her sister?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out next time, but we are done with this week's books. Next week, as I mentioned, is the 5th week, so not a whole lot going on. The only real book for us to talk about next week is Giant Size X-Men number 2, which is the final, thank goodness, issue of that Kamala Khan saga. This time, the backup to that issue was supposed to be at our man Dougie himself, Revelation. And according to Marvel's own website, that backup will be written by Jed MacKay, who's, running that event, and drawn by artist name to come. Boy, I hope they figure that out before next week. Oh, gosh, Marvel. It's your own website, right? Get on it. Next week is also Spider-Man and Wolverine number 3, which I think Jim's probably doing on the regular Marvel podcast. And also Gods, the Gods tie-in to the One World Under Doom event.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure Jim's not going to want to touch anything having to do with Gods or the Doom event. So I guess that leaves it to us. Now, Ruben, have you been keeping up with the One World Under Doom event at all?
Yeah, just the main books.
Okay, that's more than I've been reading.
Any of the side stuff, and I've liked it enough. I'm sure I'm getting canceled for saying that, but throw in Gods, I'm definitely going to read that. So,
and just the event book itself, if I want to get caught up, will just reading the event book be okay? It'll make enough sense to me. You think?
I think it is. Honestly, I can just tell you what happens. I don't even think you need that, but
we'll see what happens. See how this week goes. I'll try to get caught up on the event itself, and we like Gods. We like Hickman's not writing this. Who is writing this? It's the person running the
Ryan
current
North.
writer for Fantastic. Right? What's his name again?
Ryan North.
Ryan North. Yes, of course. Who I mostly associate with Squirrel Girl because my younger daughter loved those Squirrel Girl comics. That's really the only trade paperbacks we have in the house. Every volume of Squirrel Girl is still on our bookshelf.
Yeah, and I read Strange of Asgard. I guess that's the other tie-in that I read, and I thought I enjoyed that.
Okay. So maybe I'll check that out too. That'll be next week, but that's all we have for now. Until this 5th Wednesday comes around next week, Ruben, what should our fine listeners do to spend their time?
Read more X-Men comics.
Get ready, everyone, and you just might survive. Ruben and Jason are here with their X-Men deep dive. Going through all the X-books is their mission, so get ready for the learned edition. Things are getting weird in here. Ruben hopes another sword book gets announced this year. It's the Weird Dose of X, the X-Men comic show. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed not to blow, except your mind. It's the Weird Dose of X, the X-Men comic show. It's the Weird Dose of X, guaranteed not to blow, except your mind.
Power fantasy my ass.